Once we go live, I'm just going to tweet out the link. Just see if it goes live. Once we go live, I'm just going to tweet out. Yeah. Right. Just give me 1 sec. Sorry about that.
No stress.
Do you see the Amir Khan stuff? We'll get into that as well at the end.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna be so insufferable during those weeks.
Of course, you have a proper dislike to Brooke, innit?
I don't even mind him. It's just funny. Let me just tweet this link. Hopefully tweet it out properly. Let's see. All right, yeah, it did. All right, let's go. All right. It's a bit dark, isn't it? Let me just see. It's much better. All right. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ringside Fracas. I'm your host Naeem, and I'm here joined today by Samson. Samson, how are you, man?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad.
It's just me and you today.
Yeah. Holding the fort, you know.
We've got lots to talk about though, so I'm sure we'll get through. And I think Jide hopefully will be joining us soon. But anyway, let's start with a review of last week's boxing. We had 2 unification fights last week. Brilliant week for boxing, in my opinion. You know, whenever we always want to unify the champions, unify the belts. Because I'm a big advocate for one division, one name. So we're getting there slowly.
One name, one champion.
One name, one champion. Yeah, we're getting there slowly. So last Saturday, we had George Kambosos taking on Teofimo Lopez for the unified. Well, some people say undisputed. We'll get into that.
Undisputed.
Paper undisputed. Lightweight championship. Did you catch the fight, and what do you think of the result of George Kambosos pulling off the big upset?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a classic case of, you know, like you get the silk pajamas and get up in the morning. Becomes difficult. Teofimo was essentially when he came through beating Loma, he was the top of the league. He was the emperor. He was the king. He was part of the 4 kings. He was the king.
Thing's the emperor now. What's his name? Kambosos. We're gonna give him that term. He coined it, so we're gonna give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. We could do that. Yeah. Deservedly so at the end of the day. Because when Teofimo won, everyone gave him kudos. Everyone gave him credit. He went out there and did what none of the other guys wanted to do, which is jump in the ring with Loma and dethrone Loma. So he deserves all the credit in the world. No doubt about it. However, what we saw from Loma wasn't what we saw from Lopez was not the Lopez that we've come to know. This was a Lopez that essentially fell in love with his power. He's no longer trying to work his way in there. I don't know if it was a complete underestimation of Kambosos, but either way, he got it badly wrong, and it looks like he was completely out of touch, like in terms of his distance, in terms of his even ability to just box. There was no fundamentals. Just straight went in there, loading up, trying to get him out of there because he believed in his own hype. And I guess his dad was clearly blowing enough smoke up his ass because his dad was just there watching a complete different fight to us.
His dad was definitely blowing something up his own nose as well.
Right, mate. I've never seen a fighter losing quite clearly, and dad is saying, "Yeah, get him the fuck out of there now. Like he's done. Yeah, he's finished." I'm thinking, mate, Kambosos is literally boxing his head off comfortably.
And he's piecing him up, especially in the last 2 rounds. You just saw his face was mashed.
He started to beat him up. Like he really started to put the work on him. And he's going, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, we won the fight 10-2. In what world?
That's the concussion speaking. That's what I say. That was the concussion speaking. And partly, his corner telling him he's winning. So obviously the fighter in his head thinks, oh, I've won all these rounds. That's why he probably did say 10-2, because in his head, he's in the fight. He's not thinking about it too much. Obviously getting beaten up a bit, but he's also thinking, if my dad's telling me I won, I probably won that round. So I probably did 10-2. So yeah. What do you think just in general about Teo's performance, just as a whole, and comparing it to him before?
It was bad. It was like the Teo that we saw yesterday on Saturday was light years away from the Teo against Loma. That was pivoting with Loma, that kept the distance, that literally kept the pressure on, kept throwing power shots, but wasn't overloading. He was working his way. He was being smart. He was being effective. This was just a guy who literally walked forward, didn't try and jab his way in, just walked forward and threw a left hook and a right hand constantly. Kambosos caught a read on it very, very quickly. I said, "Wait, this is light work. This was nothing but days work." But he was smiling and stuff in there. He was having fun.
Yeah. For me, I thought it was very weird because I went into this fight. I think we all went into this fight thinking,
Teo stops it.
1 second. Yeah. Jide, you all right?
I was going to say, my GOAT. 7th Ballon d'Or. This is for Samson. 7. CR7. Forget about that guy. We are Messi Ballon d'Or 7. Anyway,
this is a boxing podcast.
For people that don't know, I think Messi just won the Ballon d'Or, didn't he? So yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that shit's rigged, man. Who even cares about that shit?
So yeah, Jide, we're just talking about the Teo stuff. So I'm just gonna give my thoughts and I'll come to you in a bit. So we all came into, I think everyone, even in the reviews, the previews, everyone came into it thinking Teo was gonna win. Even though most of the boxing world also thought Teo was gonna win that fight. I thought, especially, you watch the guy that fought Lomachenko, you think this guy could definitely take out Kambosos. No disrespect to Kambosos. I even said it before. He's a top 10 lightweight. He can easily trouble the top guys, but I wouldn't give him beating them. Even now, I still say like guys like Haney or Teo, the one that fought Lopez. But it was weird because you saw literally from the first second, Teo's running at him. He's sprinting at him. He's not even like how I say you start quick. Teo starts quick. This wasn't quick. This was like bolt, like going 100 meters trying to dash him out.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, he jumped half the ring just to try to land a leaping left hook like his name is Roy Jones Jr. or something. Like it was weird. And throughout the whole fight, it wasn't working. Like, okay, the knockdown as well. Let's go into that. I mean, you're just walking straight forward with your hands down. Obviously, you're gonna get hit. Kambosos is a quick puncher. He's got quick reflexes. He's gonna hit you and he's gonna drop you down. But it was just weird, and there was no technical adjustments. It was literally loading up, trying to find that right hand, trying to find that left hook. And then when he had him, I think I said it in the group chat. When he knocked down Kambosos, brilliant. Kambosos was all over the place. You can see he still didn't have his legs in that 10th round. All you had to do, set the jab and set your combinations, and you get him out. And nope, again, waiting.
No, I think he was gassed.
Yeah, again, if you're leaping, it doesn't matter even if you're a bit inactive, because I remember the DAZN commentators were saying, oh, he's inactive. Yeah, the inactivity is a problem. You need to set that jab out. There's also the fact that you're jumping and you're doing you're putting everything, loading up so much, you're putting everything, you're going to gas yourself out. And it was so bad to watch because you genuinely saw that he was affected by the mind games that Kambosos put. And he was clearly thinking about the X, Y, and Z big fights with, Haney, Josh Taylor. He was thinking about those type of fights, and he wasn't thinking of the guy in front of him. I think a lot of fighters do that nowadays, where they're not looking at the guy in front of them. You have to beat the guy in front of you. It doesn't matter about this big fight that's coming up. Focus on the guy in front of you. A lot of, even in the media, most of the focus wasn't even on Kambosos. It was on like the big fights after him. So they completely overlooked him, and he did the same thing, just completely overlooked him, and he got paid for it. And that's boxing. If you make a mistake at the top level, this is what happens. You get dropped down. And his whole antics after of cutting off the interview, it's not good look. It wasn't a good look, and not a lot of people like his dad. It's like the whole Angel Garcia situation. Like, not people like him. So some people enjoyed this performance. You know, like they wanted Tio to get a humbling like that. So yeah, Jide, what do you think about the whole big upset from George Campos and Teofimo Lopez? Oh, he's getting ready.
Let me sit up. For my attire. I just came back from the gym.
No problem. No problem.
But yo, Tio Lopez. You know what? I'm a fan. I'm not gonna come out and start hating on him. I've been a fan of Tio. The only thing I didn't like is the cap about Lomachenko saying he's not rematching him because of they didn't respect him by giving him a rematch clause or some bullshit. I just didn't find that. Personally, I thought that was bullshit. That was just pure cap. He just knew Loma figured and it's gonna get a bit technical in it. But anyway, let me go back to the fight. Let me talk about the fight. I feel like Kambosos Senior sort of predicted what was going to happen in that fight. Before the fight happened, he said Tio looked really dry at the weight, that he really struggled to make 35. And we saw that in the fight. We saw Tio essentially came out in that fight to try and end it early. Remember, in our predictions, we said if Tio doesn't get him out early, he's going to struggle and we'll get on points. I thought it was going to get to points and then maybe Tio would drop him late and stop him, which kind of did happen. Like Tio did clock him in was it the 9th or the 10th?
Yeah.
10th.
It was the 10th, right? Yeah, he clocked him. So I even thought my prediction was going to come true. I can't lie. Like, I'm like, right, like shit. But yeah, the fight itself. So I also said in the group chat, I feel like because Tio is a counter puncher, although people think he's a boxer puncher, for me, he's more of a counter puncher. And I feel like with counter punchers, if you're not fighting often and you have long layoffs, you're going to start slow because you need to get your timing back. You rely on reflexes, you rely on speed, you rely on timing. And timing and stuff like that are things you basically perfect over time when you're fighting more fights.
Just to quickly interject, but also Kambosos had a long layoff as well. So
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. But in this situation, I'm just basically saying from Teofimo Lopez's POV. Again, Kambosos, I underestimated him. I knew he was good, but I didn't think he was this good. Again, I'm not going to overblow. Boy, he beat an elite fighter. I'm not going to overblow his win. I'm going
to say a bit like an AJ situation. I feel like it was more of a poor performance from.
Yeah, no.
You don't bring up that fight, don't you?
It's a really good case study. It's a really good
I hear what you're saying.
No, I definitely agree that Tio didn't look great, didn't fight well or whatever. But I also do feel like Kambosos, you have to give him his props. And before before I get to him, while I'm still getting onto Tio, their game plan was just off. Like they just wanted to try and knock out Kambosos early, get him out of there, and then move to 140 and fight Josh Taylor. That was what they were trying to do. I don't understand the CTE this guy's got. I remember when Wilder was doing his dumbness with Fury the first time. What was Tio saying? Take your loss like a man. You're moving like a bitch. Again, one day we're gonna get this podcast PG so we don't swear anymore. But my man was using all the sort of profanities to cuss Wilder that you had the PBC LDBC guys saying, if they see Tio, they're gonna put them pals on him. Like they were really onto Teofimo because Teofimo said Wilder was moving like a bitch in regards to the Fury loss. He can't take his loss like a man. And you hear this guy and his dad saying he won 10-2. Saying the crowd booed because the result. No, they booed because you can't take an L.
What kills me is that he said, everyone in this building knows it, and they all booed him again.
Yeah. CTE. Even Wilder didn't have this level of CTE. Wilder was chatting his shit after the fight, after they've left the ring. My man is talking crap while you're still there. And these men are booing you while you're out here chatting shit. And then in the post-fight press conference, if I was Kambosos, I will not give this man a rematch. No chance in hell. I'll tell him to fuck off. I'm with Ludabella, get me the most money. But to go to Kambosos, like Samson, I completely agree with Samson. It was literally everything that could go right went right. Tio was dragged late. The layoff, although it affected both of them, I feel like it still hurt Tio because of the way Tio likes to fight. And he weathered the storm early, dropped Tio, like the shot that dropped Tio. Tio walked straight into the shot. He walked like that is boxing 101. I'm not a boxer, but I know you're not supposed to walk in a straight line towards a shot. That is
Hands
imagine,
down.
bro. Imagine he did that against Tank. That's lights out. You know, he's sleeping.
Yeah. Wait, you know what kills me? His dad said that he slipped. Like, look, crack is a hell of a drug.
Bro, Lopez Senior is a crackhead. He's worse than Angel Garcia. He's legit worse than Angel Garcia.
Easily.
But boy, that fight, great performance by Kambosos. Big fan. Well, I'm not a big fan. I did not expect this win, but I'm a big fan of the win. Like, I love upsets. That's why I would say, like, boxing needs upsets. Fighters need to fight their mandatories. This is why people need to stop doing that shit and saying certain fights shouldn't fight their mandatories. The only fights that should trump a mandatory is unification. If there isn't a unification in the horizon, these men should be fighting their mandatories because we will get upsets. I think there's probably the only fighter in the history of boxing that won all his fights and fought all his mandatories. I'd say probably Floyd, but then you can argue in the latter stages of his career, it was
change.
Yeah,
and the governing bodies were colluding with him to make
it. Exactly. So I probably won't use him, but most fighters, even the greats, they lose when they have to fight their mandatories because when you can't choose who you fight, and they just imagine that someone give you a Tommy Hearns regen, like what are you gonna do? Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can't choose like these heralded guys. Remember Willie Monroe Jr. when he beat what's his name? Is it Willie Monroe? I forgot who he fought, but he fought someone. I remember. I think so. I was watching a Chris Andre video and he mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, that is true. And it's like these fights.
I remember him getting win on someone. That's what's killing me.
He's an unheralded guy. That's what the point I'm trying to make. And these guys that no one thinks they're gonna win, everyone thinks they're just gonna come here and take an L, or they're gonna give a good fight or give a good account for themselves. Bro, they are causing upsets. That's why Tank. And one more thing that needs to stop. The Four Kings narrative needs to fucking end.
Yeah.
That shit was an embarrassment. You call these men the Four Kings, they're not trying to fight each other, not trying to find their mandatories, calling themselves undisputed when they're not undisputed, and taking L's before even seeing each other in a ring. Like, none of these men, even Haney, and I'm a Haney fan, and I know Haney wants all the smoke, but I can't call you a king because, bro, you fought no one. You fought no one. None of these men are the for anything. They're not fighting.
The email champ.
So, boy, that's my take for the fight. It was a great fight, and we needed this for the sport, man. We needed this.
I wanted to ask, what would you ideally, both of you, what would you ideally want for Kambosos next?
Now, you know what's killing me, yeah? When that fight result was announced, go back and look at Eddie Hearn's face. Oh my God. Hey, the Zone Australia is coming right up for us. 100%. How that lands for us the next day in the morning, whatever how it works here. But that he all day long is going to Devin Haney, he's throwing the bag at David Haney and saying, here's your mandatory. Here's your shot. Go fight Kambosos and get a belt. It's all day long. All day long. He's got to make that happen. Otherwise, what's really out there for him? Do you know what I mean?
Would you do in Australia?
Yeah, it's a massive market. Massive.
Yeah, and they can sell out those those big cricket stadiums. And they got like thousands and thousands of capacity, so it would be big.
But it's funny because everyone is looking at him like food on the table. That's just basically. I saw Shakur put a very polite one as well. They said, I wouldn't mind fighting me if you don't mind. You got him, Tank. Did Tank put something out? I didn't see Tank say anything. But I see
Tank's got his fight this week, so that's why he's zoned in. Tank zones in, he's on it. That's the thing that's the thing that I found funny is like when Tio beat Loma, or when Loma became like the unified champion, everyone was quiet. I was like, all right, yeah. Soon as Kambosos got his hands on it, everyone knows, because that's the thing. I give Kambosos a brilliant guy, but these top guys know they can beat him.
This is what happened when Ruiz won his belt. Yeah. When Ruiz won it, everyone was like, "Yeah, I'd love to give the first." heavyweight champion of the world, a fight that would be great history. Food. When Jeff Horn had the WBO at welterweight, Danny Garcia was calling him out. It's like, yeah, man, I want to. As soon as Terence Crawford won it,
and then you left.
you ain't trying to see it. So, boy, all I would say is Cambosos, people are seeing them as food, but I feel like they need to be careful because listen, if Cambosos beats another quote unquote
The king.
name, boy, if he beats Haney, because Haney's talking crazy, so Haney needs to deal with Jojo Diaz, and I feel like that's a tough fight. If Haney beats Jojo Diaz, and loses to Cambosos, then boy, the banter that's gonna be on his head. Anyone that loses now between Tank, Haney, and social media boy, it's gonna be long.
If Cambosos beats Haney, I mean, Cambosos might as well get the whole Emperor merch going, bro. Because like, you call yourself the Emperor and like make that your brand. Because it's actually a name. I don't know how anyone.
He said he's on the road. He said he's been on the road. He's been taking these guys out one by one.
I mean, to be honest, they're not great. Like, I mean, he took on Lee Selby. I mean, Lee Selby is a brilliant fighter, but at 135, no, he's not. You know, he's not that. He's a 126 fighter. But yeah, Cambosos is he's a road warrior, like we said, and he deserves his flowers. Look, you changed your life, isn't it? Like this is life changing. So, yeah, you know. I wanted to ask. Some militant says Jojo's a tougher fight than Cambosos. Yeah, probably at 135, Jojo's probably proved himself more than Cambosos, but still, styles make fights, and Cambosos is a good counter puncher, so he could catch Haney with something, and he could take him out. But yeah, again, in that type of fight, I would probably go for Haney. Well, I want to ask one last question about this, about Cambosos. What win do you rank better? Do you rank the Costa Tszyu fight win over Zab Judah, or this win over Teofimo Lopez as the greatest Australian boxing win? I'm gonna come to Sam's first and then Jide.
I'm gonna say over Zab Judah. Zab Judah was a heavy favorite. The manner in which he won the fight. But then maybe I'm doing like historian here because I like that fight. I watched that fight. I used to watch Zab Judah. I didn't expect that and so forth. But in terms of the actual upset, they're both really big upsets. In honesty, like I don't think anyone in the dog expected any of those guys to get through. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a bit of a toss up in the way you look at it.
Jide?
I think the reason why I say this one is a bigger upset, quote unquote, than the Judah Costa Tszyu one is when Costa Tszyu fought Judah. Costa Tszyu was known as a quality operator. He was widely regarded as a top fighter. Obviously, everyone expected Judah to win, but it wasn't 11-1.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So Cambosos doing it is a bigger win. However, he's not the greatest Australian of all time. People need to stop that bullshit. Like, he just beat Teofimo Lopez, who was undisputed yesterday. Literally, not even undisputed. He was unified yesterday. That's it. And since he's been unified, he's been eating bare pies and talking about bringing Josh Taylor to catchweight, and he's just not been doing anything. So
No.
Obviously, we saw how Zab Judah's career panned out. Obviously, he fell off and whatever. But Zab Judah at the time was undisputed. He was legit undisputed, not this fake undisputed they got going on right now. And number two, Zab Judah that guy's a brilliant operator. Like, ridiculous phenom as a boxer, pure talent. So I would say the Costa Tszyu one isn't as big as this one in terms of the gravity of the upset. But in terms of being the greatest Australian ever, no. Like, Cambosos has a couple stories he needs to climb. But yeah, man, that's what I'd say.
I just rate the Costa Tszyu one because he had Zab Judah doing the chicken dance and then complaining.
That's what I'm saying.
It was just funny to see that, like, he gets up and his legs are just gone, and then he's trying to punch up the ref, like he's putting his glove in the ref's neck. Like, I mean, it was proper weird. But yeah, I mean, brilliant for Cambosos. Good, you know, you're the king. Everyone, like he said, everyone now has to come to him. So hopefully he sets up bigger fights in the near future. He's got a big 2022 coming up. Moving on to the other unification bout between Stephen Fulton and Brandon Figueroa for the WBO and WBC Super Bantamweight belts. Stephen Fulton won a majority decision fight in what is branded as one of the contenders for Fight of the Year. Boys, did you guys catch that?
Nah, I didn't catch it, man. I still need to watch it back, but I know it's close, so it's on my list of fights to watch.
And Jide, you didn't catch it, did you?
No, I didn't catch it. Go on.
I'll just quickly give my, because I caught it. So you know, one thing I hate, Samson, you man need to fix up. PBC never put out proper highlights. It's always 1 minute 30. You have a Fight of the Year and you're putting out 1 minute 30 highlights on YouTube, like
because they're still trying to mash up the pay-per-view. Still cats.
What did they do replays and stuff?
Yeah, 1 year later. I'm not joking. I think they just literally released Tank versus Santa Cruz.
Oh my god. No, but I mean, this is the type of fight where you have two kings of the division coming together, and like it was a proper war. It was a dogfight. I remember a lot of the guys, you know, when the Porter Crawford fight, and we were talking about how British guys don't have that dog mentality, American guys do. But in this case, both American guys had that dog mentality where they were just in each other's face for 12 rounds, a dogfight, trying to get the cleanest shots off. I personally felt Figueroa won. You two can make your own minds up when you watch it. It's a close fight. Figueroa calling it robbery of the year isn't justified, but I get from his point. He did his best, and it was a very razor sharp fight. I thought Figueroa won as well, but it was brilliant. Just it was what I expected it to be: high level elite dog fighting, and they were just in each other's face. Fulton was doing clean work, but Figueroa was also getting hard, big shots off on him. It's one fight I'd suggest both of you to watch as soon as possible because you're going to enjoy it. I think it was even better than in terms of drama, Cambosos, but in terms of actual elite dogfighting, the Figueroa Fulton fight was better, I'd say, in that sense. Moving on.
I'll just quickly say both of them are like elite talent, elite in terms of your purist. They are very, very skilled. One of the main reasons I didn't watch that fight is I'm tired. It's hard. But legit, it's very, very hard. So it's just slipped my mind and slipped my time. But yeah, I would definitely go back to watch that fight.
For British viewers, it's difficult keeping up with all these American fights. It's easy with the obviously British fights, but American fights is difficult to keep up.
That slightly, if you clutch here, that it's the name that draws you in with the late night American showings. That certain fights will go on the radar, like just for Fulton fight.
Yeah.
But I knew it was gonna be close, and I've read like a lot of people's comments and stuff saying it's so close, and it was a bit of, and they felt like Figueroa should have got the nod.
Yeah,
and I knew it was, regardless, it will probably go into the wire. So, but then you don't get no noise from the public at all.
Yeah, These like again, it's like because they're lighter fighters and lighter weight fighters, you tend to not get as much exposure, and especially when you have.
It's because us boxing fans are arrogant, man. The reason why everyone loves the heavyweights, apart from them being monsters that knock each other out and make them do the chicken dance, is because when you look at your athletes in any sport, the reason you idolize them is you look at them as doing something you can't do.
Yeah.
The problem with boxing in the lightweights is everyone who weighs, I'd say, above 160. 170 if you're about 80 kg, let's just say, and you're about 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", you're 5'10", you're looking at guys that are 5'1", 5'2", and thinking, bruv, come on, man.
Right.
And because of that, you're probably like, I can't be asked. But when you're looking at the heavyweights, you're like, fucking hell, mate. I hate to say, do you know what I mean? You have more respect for them, and because of that, you want to watch their fight and think, oh, fuck that Tyson Fury, mate. He's a fucking beast, ain't he? Do you know what I mean? So it's unfortunate for the smaller weights when it comes to that.
But then, like guys like Inoue do get a bit of traction, but that's like proper stars type guys.
Yeah, I would say he's a star. He's a crossover.
Yeah. The thing I'll say about Fulton and Figueroa, I don't know if there was a rematch clause in there. I don't know the contracts and everything on the thing. I wouldn't mind a rematch. It was close.
Fulton said running back. I know they asked him if he run it back.
Sorry?
Fulton said he would run it back. He doesn't mind running it back.
They're running back. I mean, because there are other quality fighters. I mean, you have Ahmad Aliyev, Murodjon Ahmad Aliyev with the other belts. So you could do the Undisputed fight with that. You have Daniel Roman, who's another brilliant super bantamweight, calling Fulton out for a challenge. So look, for Fulton, he's got 3 top high-level guys for next year that he can think about to fight next. So Figueroa, Ahmed Aliyev, and Daniel Rahman. The Ahmed Aliyev fight might be more lucrative to him because it's the undisputed fight. So but then again, lucrative doesn't. It's not a word in their division. Yeah, it's like you have to like move up. Or yeah, you basically have to move up, or you have to wait for someone like Inoue to move up to your division, which he could, and like fight someone like him. But yeah, I mean, it was a brilliant fight. So for anyone that didn't watch that, I'd suggest you try find highlights. BBC don't help, but try find highlights wherever you can.
Go on Daily Motion or all the fights that I've just promoted. Yeah, that's why.
Now moving on to the other side of the world, in Dubai, O'Hara Davis took on last-minute replacement Nicholas Mwangi and got a unanimous decision win over 10 rounds. Did any of you guys catch that fight?
Yeah, I did.
I'll let you go. What do you think of it?
Boy, it was a run-of-the-mill performance, isn't it? Like it was very much it was an O'Hara Davis that was fighting in second gear. Didn't really need to do or much to get the win. Not that Mwangi wasn't one for trying, he just was out of his depth, really and truly. And you know, O'Hara's got those long levers, just fights well behind his jab, and just control the fight.
For me, it was a run-of-the-mill performance, which I didn't like. I thought like O'Hara had to stop him. I wanted O'Hara Davis to make a statement, just beat him up, and I just feel like he's comfortable. I don't know. I feel like O'Hara Davis needs some form of motivation right now in his career. He's at the point of his career where he's just going through the motions. I think he needs something to put fire in his belly because, bro, there's so much. He's so talented. It's the guy hits like a fucking light heavyweight. He's got long arms and he's got a good jab. He's got tools that can take him so far. And I just feel like he needs something to put fire in his belly because that performance, he did what he had to do. I'm not here to criticize him and saying he didn't do what he had to do, but at the high level, for example, me critiquing Charlo for going points with who's that guy? What's his name? Oh, I forgot his name.
Montiel.
Montiel, that's it. Went points with Montiel. Obviously, this is world levels. Obviously, levels are different. But the reason why I criticize Charlo for getting points with Montiel is that's a guy he needs to stop. Versus, like it's just not your level. You need to show these guys when you fight a guy that's not your level. You need to make them realize they are not your level. And I feel like O'Hara Davis could have done that. So that's what I'd say for that.
Yeah, I echo both of your statements. I mean, at his best right now, we probably say O'Hara's top 3 in the country behind obviously Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. And he can easily assert himself as a top 10 lightweight with light welterweight with his skills. The issue is like the whole ring rust. You know, he did the whole MTK stuff and then took a year off. He's got to be active now. Like 2022 isn't a time for him to like have 2 fights. I think he should at least have 3 fights next year and just keep active and keep improving the competition. There's a lot of guys at 140 he can take on and I think he can beat, especially getting himself into that top 10 position. It's just now like making the correct moves and like making sure that you're fighting regularly. But yeah, that's the problem I think with a lot of fighters now is that inactivity since, you know, COVID and all that. A lot of fighters are using excuse to be inactive, and that's why we're seeing a lot of average performances. We should be seeing much better performances. But yeah, like I echo both of your statements. So yeah, that was what I thought about that fight. So now that we've recapped all last week's boxing, I mean, I don't think there was any other fights that were any other fights you guys want to
cover the notable fights to see.
Yeah, that was it. So let's preview this week's fights. Well, December 4th in America for the WBC lightweight belt, the belt that is disputed about who has it and who doesn't. Devin Haney versus Joseph Diaz Jr. We were just mentioning that before. What do you guys think of that fight, and what are your predictions at the end of it? Yeah, Jide, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, great fight. I'm fine. I'm happy someone is taking a challenge to fight Devin Haney. He's not had much luck in terms of getting fights to fight him. Talking about his numbers, they're doing him like they're doing my boy Bud, didn't it? Except they're doing Haney like they're doing Bud. But I respect Jojo Diaz for taking this fight because a lot of guys don't want to. One of the so-called kings is being a WBC mandatory champion. Like he keeps defending his mandatory belt, like as if that's a real belt. You know what I mean? So he's not trying to take the actual fight to fight for the belt. He's doing eliminators. He's just eliminating everyone in the top 10, but the actual champion. But you know how it goes. So I would say Jojo Diaz, skilled operator. I like the way he fights. He will be the sort of test Haney needs. And I feel like he's the sort of name Haney needs where these guys are going to give him a bit more respect. What I thought was going to happen, again, I always say Devin Haney doesn't have power. People try to argue with me. No, this boy doesn't have power. Devin Haney must not try to do what he did when he fought what's his name? My memory.
Linares.
Yes, there we go. What's going on with my memory, man? Flipping out.
Whiz kids.
Don't worry, man, I got you. Don't worry, man, I got you.
But yeah, so you can't try and fight in a pocket and try exchange with Jojo Diaz, bro. Do what you're good at. Box him. Just box his head off and just win that unanimous points decision. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Snaps.
Yeah. So what's it? Yeah, so what was I saying? Haney, boy, I can't lie, I'm with Jide. Like, I think Haney is probably okay. In terms of the guys out there and in that group of the batch that they like to label kings, skill wise, he is very, very, very high on that list. Like he's elite. He's an elite fighter. So and you know he's elite, and it is funny that no one wants to fight him, even though they have the right to fight him, and he's got a belt apparently, but no one wants to fight him. His mandatories are trying to fight the mandatories, trying to fight the mandatories instead of fighting him. And that's hilarious. But
who's they? Let's name and shame them, man.
like George Diaz and that, they
and
don't.
Ryan Garcia.
No, don't say that name, man. Mental health, bro. Come on, man. Just use aliases, social media guy or something else, man.
They're not trying to fight. They're not trying to fight Haney, even though Haney's clearly available for a reason, because they know they're going to get beat. Simple as that. And the problem with Haney is that even if he doesn't even that he's going to beat you up. Like he's going to beat you up and just outbox you at worst if you don't. So you can turn around and say, "Oh, he's boring," and so forth, which is going to his head, unfortunately, because now he's going out there trying to prove that he can punch and he's a boxer and he's got man strength and so forth, which is what got him into a world of trouble against Linares. So he needs to go back to what he's good at, which is just winning the fight. Like if he does that, it's light work for him with a lot of these fighters, realistically. Yeah. So yeah, I think on Saturday, easy nice work, personally. But it's a good test. But I'd expect him to outbox him for the larger parts of the fight and maybe get into a bit more of a guns slinging show where he decides to try and stick on him because he's got that public perception in the back of his mind. So all in all, prediction wise, probably goes UD because it's Haney, and yeah, not much to really commentate. It might end up being a stinker.
Yeah, could very well could be. I sort of echo the same thing. Is like he in the Linares fight, what we saw, he could easily shut out Linares, and Linares didn't have a chance. But the moment he decided to open up, that's when he sort of allowed Linares to come in, and it was a mistake because he did get caught on some of those shots. I feel like they've had time to work on his craft. Early on, what he'll do is, again, same like Linares, like you said, he'll try to shut out Diaz and just trouble him, get his shots, be conservative, but win the fight and make it just all him. I think later on, he'll do that same thing again against Linares because I feel like Haney's the type of guy, he does get caught up in the social media aspect and everything where he wants to be...
followers than you.
he wants to be... I still don't know how he dropped that, but yeah, he wants to be like more explosive and a guy that people like highlight reel type knockouts and stuff. He wants that in his locker. So I still feel that maybe the game plan will be shut out Diaz, but in the later rounds, if Diaz is still there, he will try to trade with him and try to knock him out. I don't think Diaz is like Jide said, quality operator, but I don't see him being able to outbox Haney. I don't particularly see him that quick to like land something troubling on Haney. Obviously, I've been wrong before, so anything could happen, and like Kambosos showed, anything can happen. For Haney, don't focus on Kambosos, don't focus on the Undisputed, none of that, because you're going to make the same mistakes Tio did. Look at the guy in front of you and beat him. Look at Tank. That's why I'll give Tank. He hasn't said nothing. He's literally zoned in, doing his thing for Isaac Cruz, because Isaac Cruz no pushover at lightweight. Like, even though it's a late minute replacement, he's still a quality opponent.
I'm happy you said that, because Isaac Cruz, I think I remember mentioning him saying, this guy's sick, like he's a problem. He gives the minimum.
It still doesn't excuse sort of Tank's.
Like,
we still need a better opponent for Tank. Let's be real.
Agreed. But it's not a bad test.
It's not that bad.
He's smaller than Tank and fights.
Oh, he'll lose, but it's not bad.
Runs towards you and just tries to brawl. That is getting his head chopped off.
Wait, but then in terms of fight, that's a much better fight than Rolly. Much better.
I didn't like the
Rolly fight. You know, I didn't like the Rolly fight. I didn't like the Rolly fight.
That's my point. I said, in terms of fight, it's a much better fight.
Nah. At least Rolly can say, okay, I'm losing. Let me fight behind the jab. Let me keep Tank away. This has no thing. Listen, if Tank is sticking on him, you can't go, let me box behind the jab. He's smaller than him. He's got short hair. He's short arm.
Rolly shit. He's dead.
Listen, I agree. But my thinking is, Rolly Romero can say, although he's shit at it, let me try and box behind the jab. Let me keep this midget away from me, which you will see. But this you here can't even do that.
Isaac Cruz is not bad far.
Isaac Cruz is getting slept. You know that. We all know that. I'm sure when we get to
it'll be a fun fight. I think it'll be a fun fight. Like, it'll be more entertaining. I think the thing with my issue has always been with Tank is, for the point he's at his career now, and the way people are talking about him, he should have fought someone better by now. And
he's been a pro as long as AJ.
His resume doesn't reflect what his skills are. His skills, I'll say he's got brilliant skills, but his resume doesn't reflect it. And
he has top 5 skills.
Yeah, it's on his promotion and himself to get those bigger fights. And I still like, obviously now that like his promotion talk about Kambosos, obviously, because now if Kambosos wins, now they want to fight. But
I hate these guys. Oh my god.
But look, like we said, there's the Kings discussion. You got the TOs, you got the Lomachenko. Look, the Lomachenko fight should have been made like years ago. When it should have been made, but it didn't get made. But with Tank is next year, especially 2022, I'll let it slide this year, obviously with the Rolly stuff and everything. I can let that slide. You get the late minute replacement. Not many people are going to take Tank on a late minute replacement, but for next year, I'm expecting a world-class opponent. I don't know who. That obviously, I don't know which division he's deciding to stay in or not. I think it's lightweight, but we never know.
Yeah, I think it's lightweight.
Bro, they're gonna get.
I need a world-class opponent. Whether it's a Haney, I don't think it will be Haney, but when it's a Haney, whether it's a Lomachenko, whether it's a Teofimo if he stays at 135, whoever, I need a world-class opponent.
They are not.
Or else you can't defend him in that sense, where skills-wise he's amazing, but he hasn't done anything in his career to show that.
We can't defend him now. Listen, let me tell you they're gonna bring for Tank. Let me tell you right now. They're gonna get the ghost, the bones of Guillermo Rigondeaux to come to 135.
Oh, for God's sake.
Feed him to Tank. What? You think I'm lying? Watch. Then they'll be like, Tank beat an Olympic.
You are taking the piss. If they did that, even me, I'll throw my PVC match.
Wait,
by the way, thanks for the link, Neem.
What link?
The link for the PVC. So I didn't even know that existed.
What did I say? What?
You sent me the PVC clothing merchandise.
That wasn't me.
Was it you?
That was safe.
It was safe.
It was definitely not me. I didn't do the PVC.
What was you?
See, Say is low key LDVC, man.
I might be blaming Say, but it might not be him. I forgot who it was. I have to check.
I'm gonna check.
Oh, I know what we're talking about. It was me.
I was like, I'm gonna load that up to the pod. I need to get that shit. I'm hoping that the Custer's not stop it at thingy, so I can get that and get the pod.
The
All right, do
PBC.
you guys want to make your predictions now, or you want to wait for the prediction league?
I did
Bro,
that.
I'll make it now. Under 7 rounds. I'm doing
4 to
can't
6.
do yeah, 4 to 6.
All right.
I might do 7 to 9. 4 to 6 or 7 to 9.
Okay, yeah, all right. I'm not gonna. This is not your final, obviously. When we ask the
Yeah,
prediction
it's not my
league,
final. That boy's
Sim-
getting stopped.
Stamps, yours, your prediction,
Haney UD.
and the tank fight.
Oh, Tank. Oh yes, it's a 7 to 9 because Isaac is gonna start fast. Renee's gonna start
Yeah.
fast, and we'll start slow, and then warms up in the fight. And then Mayweather's gonna walk over and say, "You're down in the fight. I'm your guy, so I'm gonna give you 100. I'm gonna keep you 100." Tan's gonna go, "What? I'm gonna go get him."
He's gonna be wearing that hat, that big hat of his as well.
For the Royal hat, or whatever it's called.
His get-ups. Remember that Louis Vuitton whole overalls or whatever it was he was wearing. He's gonna wear that as well. So yeah. I think also Tank knockout. I'm stuck between 4 to 6 and 7 to 9. I think 4 to 6. I think Tank's proper zoned in for this type of fight, especially because he hated Rolly. Like, he proper hated Rolly.
I needed the Rolly fight, man. The smoke the smoke Tank was he had one line. I even wrote it down. It was like, because everyone can talk about letting the bullets off, but what are you gonna do when the bullets come back? I was like, ooh.
You wanted Rolly. That would have been a fun fight.
The press conference was funny because Rolly was talking, and Rolly's not that great of a talker. But then Tank can't speak himself, so it was hard to understand what Tank was saying.
It was special needs.
Oh my god!
I respect special needs people. That was just my bad.
Now moving on to the other side of the pond. I mean, we've got a big fight this week in Britain. The much anticipated rematch between Lyndon and Anthony Yarde. Are you guys excited for that? What are your guys' thoughts on it? I'm gonna come to Jide first since he's rubbing his hands.
The Lions in the camp. Back, baby. Hey, I'm excited for this one, man. I've been waiting for this one. And the main reason is because these men have been moving like absolute D-word. Like, bro, why are you dragging your feet over a fight? You signed a rematch clause. I fully hear you want to have the fight in Birmingham or Manchester, wherever they're from, but they can't fill it out to get you paid. You are a prize fighter. You are not a whatever you believe you are. You're here to make money. Put me in the place I make the most money. The people in your hometown ain't coming out and paying the money that will make the fight worth what you and your manager and your trainer want from the fight. You're fighting Yarde now and you're getting paid, which is what you're here for. So the dragging the feet was what they signed the rematch because that just rubbed me the wrong way. It really, really rubbed me the wrong way. But we're finally here. And I feel like, you know what? This is Anthony Yarde's time to right that wrong. Lyndon Arthur's quality jabber. He's tall, he's rangy, he knows how to use his range. I don't want to see that. Again, Anthony Yarde is very good at not getting hit to an extent. He's actually really good at it. He's pretty good at counter punching. But unfortunately, you're trying to do that Adrian Broner shoulder roll. It's not the Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll. That's the Adrian Broner shoulder roll. Wide stance, and you can't really move. He needs to cut that out in this fight. He needs to find a way to slip Lyndon's jab and throw combinations to the body. Forget about going to Lyndon's head early. He needs to take a leaf out of Canelo's book. Just stalk Lyndon where you're at range. Lyndon's going to panic because you're putting pressure on him. Just being just outside someone's range of punching, which is what I love.
Ronaldo. Ooh.
This is why I love Canelo's stalking, because he's smaller than all these guys, short arms, all of that. But he follows them and he stays out of range where they're so hesitant to throw anything. He's in their range. They know he's in their range, but if they throw a lazy jab, it will step inside and it's going to your body. He's throwing a 3-piece to your body. And that's what I need Anthony Yarde to do. Forget about going to the head. Set up and just stalk him. When he throws a jab, don't look back. Don't lean back. I need him to be. Hopefully he's learned how to slip
inside
and go inside and just go to his body and then gone back out and just stalk him, and then in the mid rounds go for his head because Lyndon will be overprotective of his body, and then you can light him up. So I'm gonna go for that fight, Yarde stoppage. I truly believe it because I feel like Yarde's gonna be an animal in this fight, and I need him to be an animal. I'm praying he's an animal because I'm putting money on this. But I need Yarde to stop.
Man's banked on his Christmas presents from Yarde.
Boy, I'm getting Ghana, bro. I need to eat. I have to do PCR test in Ghana and in Nigeria, bro. I need some peas, bro. So, Anthony, you might be feeding me and my family, so I need that.
Oh God,
I need that. But yeah, that's how I see that fight, man.
No question there.
I clip that up. That is a clip that we need, boy.
Yeah, no, I'm clipping that definitely. I'm
going Ghana and Nigeria. I'm betting on you. Carry me through, please. Oh shit.
Samson, what are your thoughts on the fight?
It's quite simple, personally. Like, Yarde goes in there, stops in rounds 46 because he knows what he needs to do. And as much as Jide gave us a nice, good technical breakdown, we've seen already. We saw it in rounds, I think it was 10 to 12 when he started sticking on him. Whenever that point was in that fight where Anthony Yarde basically said, I'm going to get this guy out there, that's what we need to see. Simple as that. It's going to stalk him down, actually get his jab off as well. Try and establish your jab, yeah, and then just keep the pressure on him and not just follow him around and walking him down, but just actually break him systematically. You'll get him out there. And we know that Lyndon doesn't really want to get into any kind of like warfare with him. He fought enough to know that he wants absolutely none of it, which is why that fight didn't get made immediately. So for once, we're going to say, thank you, Frank. I will see you, Warren, yeah, for getting that over the line because we needed that. We needed that run right back. So, yeah. And Ringside has a lot of us are going out there. So we're going to be shouting. We're going to be shouting lines in the camp. We've got the t-shirt on.
If you see any of us, don't hesitate to say hi. The one thing that I echo what both of you said in terms of the fight, how it goes and how it should go and what it should look like. My only thing is with Yarde is in the last fight to Arthur, the issue that I have with Yarde is you're a brilliant fighter. I mean, physically, I mean, in the entire the TO fight and stuff, he needs to stick it on him.
You're going to say that?
Yeah.
I was literally thinking that.
What I was going to say is in the Arthur fight, Arthur was finding his jab and Kovalev was doing the same thing. And now that you've had a year off, that shouldn't be a problem anymore. You should be able to get past the jab. And that's going to be his biggest trouble in this fight going forward as well. Because if I compare Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yarde, like who could trouble the elite of the British, the top level of the British, and who could trouble the world level guys, I give Yarde more of a chance than Arthur because Yarde physically he's much stronger, he's quicker, he's a specimen if we're being real. It's just the technical level obviously has to rise as you're going up. The thing I say about Yarde is I want to see improvements where you're coming up with tactics for Lyndon Arthur's jab. He's throwing the jab, make him think about it. He throws the jab, come over the top of the right hand. He throws the jab, throw your own jab over it. Like give different looks so that every time Lyndon starts to throw his jab, he's gonna have to he's gonna think about it twice because he's gonna think about you throwing something back. It's the same thing I said about Daniel Dubois when he lost to Joe Joyce. Yeah. If you're not throwing something back with their jab, they can just jab all night long. You have in this fight, especially, you have to show something to to make them think. And then, trust me, I don't see much from Lyndon Arthur where I think he can take a shot, but in terms of physically being able to take like combinations, no, I don't see much. So I think Yarde should get a mid-round or even late stoppage. We'll do the prediction leagues this week, so I'll make my decision then. But I think it's gonna be a quality fight. And if it leads to a trilogy, will help. I mean, I don't think any of us will mind that because I think it will be a brilliant.
No, I don't want to see a trilogy. I ain't gonna.
You don't want to see a trilogy?
Get him out of there and let's be done with this, man. Move on.
Right.
Yarde, this is a blip for Yarde, really, truly. So he needs to push on, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's what I said about Arthur is like, if you're so confident that you beat Yarde, why didn't you take on someone else big in the meantime that you're waiting for this? He wasn't even waiting for this Yarde rematch. He didn't want to, like you said, he didn't want to fight Yarde initially.
Get out of it. Yeah.
So why didn't you fight a better fighter like those Callum Johnsons, etc., to take on? Like, but hell, At least we're getting this fight, and it's going to be a fun fight, in my opinion. I think it's going to be like action packed straight from the start. So,
I just remembered as well. Yeah, as much as Jide needs Yarde to win, so does Travis from Undisputed. Undisputed, he needs that. He needs them to win as well. From Undefeated podcast, because he actually stuck it on Lyndon, saying, "Yeah, you're going to lose."
in that interview,
Yeah. So there's a lot riding on Yarde's win still.
Yeah. I just want to come on one fight on the undercard of Arthur and Yarde. One fight I think you'd also be interested in, Sams and Jide. Hamza Shiraz versus Bradley Skeet. Hamza Shiraz is a top quality prospect, one of the highest rated prospects in the UK, and now he's taken on former challenger Bradley Skeet. How do you guys see that fight going, and what do you think about Hamza in general?
Yeah, I like Hamza. He's a massive welterweight. I think personally, this is good. It's like a really good fight to see where he's at, because he's gone over to America. Been training over there for pretty much most of this year, I think it is.
Yeah.
So or the better part of this year. So we get to kind of really say, okay, we can see him at like a European level. Can he push into European scene, or is he still at the domestic scene and so forth? So yeah.
Jide?
Yeah.
Hamza Shiraz, what do you think?
Oh, sorry. sorry. I was a bit
No,
distracted.
no.
Shiraz Bradley. I think Shiraz will win that. That's what.
What do you think? What do you think about Hamza in general? Like, where do you think he can go, and what do you think about him?
I think he's a good fighter. I like him. I don't think he's gonna be like some elite. I've not seen anything to say he's going to be some world beater and become an absolute elite fighter, but anything can happen. I think I like the way he fights. I actually think he's quite good. So what I want to see from this fight is I want to see him deal with Bradley Skeet essentially. I want him to show me the use of his jab and setting up his shots, because at that size, like, boy. So yeah, no, I want to see Hamza really like stick it on Bradley Skeet. That's what I want to see. I want to, because I am quite high on him. I do feel like he can do pretty well in this sport.
Yeah, I expect a statement win from Hamza, and hopefully it's one of those ones where he can ride it on social media and sort of create a bit of a hype and following behind him. So yeah, I'm excited to also see him in the ring. So now moving on from the previews. Well, we got one preview, not a really preview. We're just going to get into it a bit. We'll preview it when the fight week happens. Amir Khan versus Kell Brook.
Battle of the Crawford losers. Oh, that's what they should actually call that fight. The best of the losers, series 1. Oh, guys, man, they gave me the ick. They gave me the ick,
bro. And you know what makes me riled? People like Naeem and Naeem Safo. These guys make me so mad because they love Amir Khan, and I'm like, how can you love a guy that stopped us from enjoying potentially one of the best domestic dust-ups in their primes? It makes me so sick. I know what hurts me even more. So if this fight was in their prime, the reason why I've always felt Kell Brook would have slept this boy is Amir Khan, in the peak of his powers, still had a vulnerable chin. Before GGG put them paws on Kell Brook, the guy was quite durable. So I've always felt that. He was. Bro, okay, so you're gonna say he got dropped by what's that guy's name? The South African.
Regis Prescott.
Not Prescott. No, I'm talking about Kell Brook.
Kell Brook. Oh, who? Van Heerden.
No, bald guy, short guy. Gave him a tough fight.
Thank you,
Carson Jones, are you?
Yeah, Carlton Jones. That's it.
Carson Jones.
He's from South Africa.
No, he's American.
He's American.
He gave him 2 tough fights.
I'm having an absolute mare. But yeah, he gave him. But he is quite. I can't lie to you. Kell Brook's quite durable, and he also showed it in Sean Porter fight.
That's the only fight in his name of actual.
He can compared to Khan, he can take a shot, and I've always felt.
From who though? From who?
I mean, Khan will start fast. He always starts fast. In like first 6 rounds, no one would debate in this world that Amir Khan will win the first 6 rounds. But no matter who Amir Khan fights, whether he's an elite boxer or a dead boxer, they catch him. As soon as his legs go, they catch him on the whiskers. Kell Brook catching that boy on the whiskers, he is going to sleep. This was in their prime. This is in their prime.
Yeah.
However, it's no longer in their prime, and Kell Brook is no longer durable. Kell Brook is just as chinny as Khan, as you said. This is the battle of the Crawford damaged goods side pieces. It's going to be. We're gonna watch it because we've always wanted to watch this fight, right? Everyone's gonna watch it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't ginger me, man. I don't feel this fight. Like, what bragging rights? If whoever wins this, the bragging rights. I'm not gonna really rate you. Like, if Khan wins and it starts talking about this is why I didn't fight you in our prime, I knew I would do this to you, I'll feel so sick because I can see it. You can see it. You all know it.
Definitely saying that. Whoever is definitely. But you know them guys. You know them guys are chatting shit now. Them guys are just cashing out now. I don't believe they even dislike each other anymore. I reckon they call each other and say, "Let's just cash out."
Nah, I get it's easy to dislike Kell Brook.
Sniffers. Boys.
Kell Brook here. He is the biggest, like, I don't know how to put it, man. I've never seen someone so overrated in my life in boxing.
Kell Brook.
Honestly,
my guy.
If you actually go through his CV, yeah, he gets so much prop without fighting and beating nobody. His biggest win was him hugging Porter to death. And like,
bro, you can discredit the tactics wherever, bro. You won that.
Yeah, no dispute. No way am I going to dispute that. Yeah, but every time he's actually stepped up, he's lost.
But bro, the first time, apart from Porter, the step up against Spence, he was winning that fight. He was winning that fight before he got stopped.
He was competitive,
bro. He was winning that fight. You said every time he got stepped up, he lost, bro. Come on, Spence is right now in your eyes the best welterweight. Before the accident, he was the best welterweight, and
he was competitive in the fight. He had his eyes broken,
and he's still top 2 welterweights.
He was competitive in the fight. He had his eye broken.
What's that, bro? Anyone can get that. The orbital.
He got his ass beaten, man. He got his ass.
Tim Bradley won a fight with concussion, bro. When he wasn't there, he wasn't in a fight, and he still
Kell didn't win.
Yeah, no. I get that Kell didn't win. Kell hater. My point is, he was winning the fight. But the psychological damage of imagine on. Listen, remember last week here, was it in this pod or somewhere else that in a group that I said Michael Bisping, he lost his eye. He lost his eye because he got kicked in the eye, had the damage, tried to fight on with it, and it done further damage to it, and they had to take out his eye. Kell Brook is probably thinking, bro, my retina on the left side has been mashed. Now my man mashed my right side, so I can't see how both sides of my face is there. Now fuck this boxing thing is long. I'm done. That's probably what happened. So I reckon if he didn't have the GG fight, I'm not saying he would have won. He might have still ended up being stopped, right?
It was competitive.
But it was a very competitive fight. It was and I feel like if Kell Brook fought him without being damaged by Golovkin, we don't know how that fight might have turned out because, bro, Kell Brook was doing brilliant stuff. You might not want to give him credit, but this is against your boy that you say is the best since Mayweather. He was doing mad damage to him. He was doing stuff. Doing stuff, bro.
It was a competitive fight.
Spence didn't know how to deal with the jab in the first few rounds.
It was a competitive fight by all means, but it was never under threat of losing. Thank you.
Listen, is it not facts though? So wait, you're trying to say psychological damage doesn't occur in boxing?
Is it just you mean psychological, right? Not physiological. You mean psychological, right?
Yeah, I'm talking psychological. I didn't say physiological.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I hope that's what Mariah's talking about.
No, but physiological will be the actual physical damage that
the eye. Yeah,
his eye getting bust up. So it's legit. That is also legit, but I think it's more psychological in his
brittle eyes.
Yeah, it is, bro. Bro, when AJ got clocked, by Ruiz, that you love it. Remember we were saying, bro, this guy has still got the ghost of Ruiz in his head, which is why he doesn't like going in there and having a tear up. Which is true. He even admitted it himself. That shit it stays in your head. So if a Kazakhstan Rocky, a Kazakhstan train, a Terminator, busted up your eye for 4 rounds and just beat you all over the just done you like Rocky done Apollo Creed. No, not even done you like Drago done Apollo Creed, yeah. What are you gonna? You're now fighting Spence, this guy who's going to your body, who's pushing you back the same way. It's coming back to you. Remember, that was his last fight. GGG was his last fight. It's all coming back to you. So,
as far as I'm concerned, Brooke was getting systematically beaten up and he started to lose. And I think personally it was even a bit of a cop out. But you know what? Either way, Brooks' level was Carson Jones. That's why I had to run it back with him. And both fights.
Oh my! How can his level be Carson Jones if he beat Porter?
He never done anything. He never did anything, and he chose. He chose to go and fight a man like flipping Frankie Gavin or Gavin, what that guy's name was. And then he fought no one. He literally chose. Eddie Hearn sold a career of Kell Brook here, doing niche. Then he went and got cashed out against Crawford. And we goes where he literally ran across the ring to get away from a jab.
Jide, can I ask you a question?
If Naeem's boy wasn't a B word and had a bit of cojones and stepped up and actually fought, man. Imagine my man. Do you know how much of a mind fuck Khan is? He signed to Matchroom with the intention. He done a press conference. I'm signed to Matchroom so we can get the Kell Brook fight on. To troll Kell Brook. Imagine signing to the stable of your op.
You know what makes me laugh when you say this though, yeah? In all the time he literally was chasing Khan up and down around the world, yeah. Why did he try to fight anybody else? Any of the actual welterweights?
No, bro. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Kell Brook is some saint in this. I agree. I feel like he should try to fight. He should have tried to fight the other welterweights. But his main goal, unfortunately, was Khan. The same way, and then he was chasing. So when Khan said, "No, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight Canelo," like some dickhead. Kell Brook himself thought, "Nah, I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna fight Triple G." Like
at least Khan won a few rounds.
Literally.
Okay. Do you really want to claim that? What would Triple G have done to your boy? What would Triple G have done? From round one? He would have done him like he done Prescott. The moment Triple G threw a jab, kind of like. Listen, Khan doesn't want to be in there with Triple G at all in any universe.
I want to debunk a few things. Yeah, right. So Khan doesn't have a great chin. Let's be okay. He doesn't have a great chin.
Don't defend his chin.
It's not a brutal chin. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. Let me land. He got knocked out. He quit against Terence Crawford. Fair enough. He quit against Terence Crawford. He knew he wasn't going to outbox him. It was going to be a long night. Might as well just quit while ahead. Canelo's one of the biggest punchers in the game. Yeah, can you agree? He's one of the biggest punchers in the game. He's knocking out light heavyweights. Okay, that's Canelo. Who else did he get knocked out? Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia again in his prime, big puncher. Catches him, he's out. Who's the other guy he got knocked out against? Breeders Prescott is one I'll give you. Like he should have won that fight and he just got knocked out. And that was it, I think. Is it? Or there's one more fight he beat. I swear, against he fought Jeff Horn, didn't it? And he got knocked out. I mean, come on, he never fought Jeff Horn. Look what
Team Brooke is doing. He got knocked out a couple times, man. Yeah. Let me check.
I think it was.
He got dropped by. Is it Diaz? He got dropped by.
Yeah, Diaz. That's it.
But he won the fight.
I lost.
Samuel Vargas as well. But okay.
That lost 10 fights and dropped him like how many times? Bro, Khan is chinny. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah.
But who's Brooks stopped? Name me a good fighter Brooks stopped.
You can't find one. Don't exist.
Who's a good fighter Khan stopped?
Can't beat Alexander. Beat Algeria. Maidana beat.
Guys that ain't got the Maidana fight is the only fight that I'll give him credit for.
Beat Molina.
If we're being real, he beat Lamont Peterson.
Beat Collazo.
He beat Peterson, but he got screwed over. Because he was in Washington.
He got screwed over against Peterson. He beat Judah as well. Come on, like if you put them together, they are lightweights.
Oh, come on, you guys.
All those names Samson just mentioned is if you put that on Kell Brook's name.
Listen, Porter is better than everyone. Porter is better than everyone Khan's beat.
Porter's better than.
Go on, defend that. Porter is better than everyone Khan's beat.
Personally, Porter would absolutely ruin Brook. Yeah, and if that fight was anywhere
That's
else,
what they fought. You can't say that. You cannot
and
say
that fight personally, Paul hugged the shit out of him. He was doing
You know what? So you're wait, we're getting angry at tactics now. You can't say
hugged
you
the
can't
life
say,
out of him.
nah, bro. You can't say Porter would ruin Brook. They fought in their primes. You can't listen.
They definitely didn't fight their primes. No way they fight their
They
primes.
did.
No,
They fought in their primes. What are you trying to say?
Porter since
Don't be that guy.
was a
Don't be that
complete
guy,
different
bro.
fight. Porter has
Don't
been a
be that
complete.
guy.
That's when Porter was still headbutting.
Don't be that Samson. Don't be that guy, bro. Listen, my G Brook beat legends like Matthew Hatton. It beat world class operators like Frankie Savage.
Man's bringing up Matthew Hatton. Next thing you know, he's going to talk about Love More and Do.
He punched up Shevchenko. Like, come on, bro.
Are you going to put Rabchenko as well on there? Oh,
yeah, man. All the Chenkos. Listen, we know. Okay, from what we know, anyone with a Chenko in their name is a top fighter, right? Leroy called someone with a Chenko in their name
yes, he did.
the greatest fighter he's ever seen. So Rabchenko, Lomachenko, listen, there's bare listen, the Chenko's in there. So all I'm saying is, based off that logic,
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, Eddie Hearn is such a flipping willy dilly. Yeah, that people actually proper rate Kell Brook for nothing.
No.
Yeah, with life and death with Carson Jones twice.
Whether you don't rate him, yeah, like for example, Kell Brook had, in my opinion, he had the syndrome that's affecting Andre.
Shameless.
he had the syndrome that's affecting Demetrius Andrade, yeah, where like the guys don't want to fight them. Guys didn't want to fight Brook.
Brook didn't want to fight no one. The guy was busy chasing
guys. Unfortunately, their resumes. They
was calling Brook out, and it was not hearing. It was apart
from Porter. Apart from Porter and Lomachenko's younger brother or older brother, depending on how I want to say. Brook could have had a listen. I know Khan knew they sparred. Like, we know when fighters know they can't beat certain people, and this is not even a captain. Like, Khan knew he can't beat this guy. How can you say you didn't want to fight Brook, so you wanted to hurt his pockets and didn't want to give him a payday? No, bro. It's the same way as Junior Witter and Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton didn't want to fight Junior Witter because, bro, Ricky Hatton had way more accolades than Junior Witter, fought way better guys than Junior Witter. But I'll tell you right now, Junior Witter would have beat that boy up. He would have won. Might have not beat him up as in like punched him up and hurt him. He would have won on points. He would have won that fight based on the styles. He would have.
You can't. You know
the same thing for Kell Brook. You can't, bro. Khan knows that because Kell Brook gives him that straight right. Can't be like
expecting people, yeah, by adding their name and attaching Kell Brook to it. Please stop that. Even Andre should slap you for that. That's disrespectful as hell. How dare you put Kell Brook, who's fought Carson Jones and had to run it back just to go in the same dogfight twice, yeah, in the same breath of Junior Whittaker, and
Junior Witter had the same situation. Are you trying to tell me that's not true? Ricky Hatton didn't want smoke with Junior Witter, bro.
He's actually skilled. Kell Brook is a.
Oh, you can't say Kell Brook is not skilled. He has ability. He does.
He's got ability, yeah, but against who?
He beat Porter in their primes. You keep trying to take away that win. He can't take away that win, bro.
Porter didn't have his dreads then. Porter was still trying to work out.
And I'm shameless, and I'm the shameless one.
Porter was still trying to work out if it was an American football player.
I'm the shameless one, yeah. Right,
this is when Porter was rushing people.
Cool. I'm the shameless one. You hear this? Imagine how good. You have the Samson ability. He lost his hair. I hear that.
Saints bringing up Maidana. Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, what happened in the second fight? What happened in the second fight? The second fight, Floyd let him know this is not that same playground. Yeah, you popped up the first time, but we are at different levels, and he gave it to him. Simple.
There's no one.
And plus, Maidana's actually a world level operator.
He is.
Jones, belongs in Greg's.
Okay, but you say that, but name one guy in Khan's resume with a Chenko in the name. Name one.
Oh my god.
Name one.
Hey, get this guy out of here, man.
Name one. You can't name them. I hear
it. Get this guy out of here.
You can't.
Like I said, Smokebrook's gonna get beaten out in February, but the reason why it's hard technically to sort of judge this fight because both of these fighters haven't been fighting at top level for over a year now. I think so. I think it's been over a year. Yeah, it's been over a year. Both of them are past their prime, so on a technical level, it is a bit difficult to watch them.
It's both their last fights. The losses to Crawford, both of them.
No, Khan went to Saudi Arabia and fought somebody. It counts, but
confidence fight.
It was just like, because Khan's got the Saudi Arabia connections. He was just doing a fight for them. On a technical level, obviously, we're not really gonna take it seriously in that sense, because it's hard to take it seriously because they're both. This is like we said, this is both a fight that they're taking as a last payday. Yeah. It's happened 5 years too late. Both of them really haven't done much in terms of activity, so again, it's hard to judge who's going to do what. Obviously, Smellbrook's going to get stopped, but it's hard to judge who's going to do what. I'm telling you, yeah. After the week when Khan wins, you see how Oscar was after the Fury fight, and you know how shameless he was. I'm 10 times that when Khan wins. 10 times.
Naeem and Mark are the worst in that group chat, because they believe in Khan so much, and he makes me sick. Especially Mark.
Yeah, for me, Khan like brought me into boxing because like when I was young, you see Khan like with the silver medal and stuff. It's like representation in it. Like it's like one of the first brown guys you see, and anyway, he's still better than Smellbrook. So
listen, I'm not mad at it. You rowdy your guy, but all I'm saying is, I hope everyone's there when Khan has his head in Brook's hand. Like Khan's head is like this. Brook is holding.
I want to go out there. I want to go out there, but it's in Manchester, so it's gonna be difficult.
Manchester, isn't it?
Yeah, Manchester will be too difficult to go. But no, it's I think everyone's lying in the sense that they're not interested. They are interested. Let's be real. When they got announced today, it was trending on Twitter, and social media is a good barometer to see how much interest there is in the fight. And these guys were trending on Twitter. I think it's going to do decent numbers. Not obviously the numbers that it should have done, but decent numbers enough, especially for this day and age. It's a bit weird that's on a Valentine's Day weekend and it's a grudge match, but fair enough. A bit ironic. And it's it's a bit telling that Matchroom didn't pick it up, Top Rank didn't pick it up, but Boxer did. So it's a sort of Boxer.
Matchroom didn't pick it up because Eddie doesn't like Brook anymore.
Yeah, but it's also an indication of Boxer trying to make their standing as a British promotion. And sort of like this fight hasn't really, in terms of business-wise, hasn't really felt that much for Matchroom and Top Rank, because I thought Top Rank would have tried.
Nah, man, there's no value in this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no there is value, but not enough for these big promotions to do what they do.
I don't think there is, and I feel Eddie's pissed. Both of them shagged him. Both of them done him dirty, so he's just thinking, "Oh, fuck them. I'm not gonna give you money."
That's what it is.
If Eddie was still cool with Khan, fuck Khan. If Eddie was still cool with Brook, he probably would have picked up this fight for the zone. But because he's not cool with Brook anymore, and Khan legit shagged. If you want to say someone played Eddie, Khan played Eddie Hearn to a T. He's just like, nah, fuck Khan. Brook, you try to do me dirty, so fuck both of y'all.
I personally think Eddie doesn't want to fight because both of them get paid too much and they're gonna ask for too much money, and he doesn't like them. So he almost tried to kind of assume that they wouldn't get the fight on because no one wants to pick it up. So he thought, I want to stuff you guys, and then obviously Sky Sports have come in and said, I want to try to bag it because they're still trying to breed their roster. So fair play in it. I guess they all won in that degree. But don't be surprised, as much as all this and Eddie hating them, that he tries to feed the winner to Bent.
Conor Bent. The thing I'll say about this is we all at Ringside have a vested interest, so we can't wait for this. Let's be honest, we can't wait for this fight. We do want to see like the result of this fight in February. Hopefully we'll get to see more like training videos of them and them like in shape, so we can actually give them we can get a sort of a better view of how the fight would look. Because if they're not in shape, I'm not watching.
Kell Brook will be in shape because obviously he's got
Khan's always in shape.
Yeah, Khan hasn't been in shape recently though.
But like he's always in shape. He'll be in shape.
He'll be in shape, but
he's not in shape. He'll still beat Smellbrook.
But Kell Brook will be in top shape because they're cooking.
And it's not 149, so it's easier for him. So he's gonna have to cut down more. But look, we can't wait for that fight when it happens in February. Last thing, this is Sam's special request. AJ step aside debate. Sam, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this, and Jide, you can fight him. How long have you long with this box office war? Go on.
Wow. So we're just gonna call out who. I was just saying that I've wanted boxing news and make sure I covered all the topics. And personally, yeah, if you delete all the ramble and like just ignore all that weird stuff that AJ does with his Philosopher's Stone and stuff that he does do and weirdo stuff and chakra stones and stage, yeah, and all that stuff. I actually agree, and I said this, that AJ should step aside because one, we want Undisputed, and two, I think for AJ's career, it makes total sense to step aside and keep your brand value and keep your commercial value. This is not me talking from the hate inside or attacking him or whatever. I'm just saying, like, realistically, Usyk's a harder challenge than it's a really hard challenge. Yeah, and if you lose, you are almost entering. You've lost the status of an elite. Like you've lost the status of an elite fighter, and you're now going to the realms of a prize fighter that basically gets fed to anybody for a payday. However, if you let them step aside and let them not fight and tussle it up, you're going to be at the end of the next phone call anyway. You can go and fight a Dylan White or fight a Deontay Wilder and so forth, which is a lesser fight than a Fury Usyk. Win that fight, which literally boosts your commercial value right back to where it was anyway. And all the trolls and all that's in these comments right now move up, like they step away and look at AJ as an elite guy again. And you go back in the next fight and win or lose, you're bowing out of your head held high. But if you lose your next fight, you're done. They're gonna start saying you should go and fight Chisora.
Jide, do you have anything to counter that?
No, like I don't know why people think that
you agree?
disagree in terms of
Hello.
Undisputed. Bro, Undisputed, I've always said that is my main priority. Obviously, it was beneficial that a guy I liked was part of the equation. Of course it is. I want my guys to do well. But I've always said Undisputed is priority. So I've wanted AJ to step aside so that Undisputed fight can happen. And I completely echo what Samson's saying. Bro, you're trying to learn a new style with a new trainer. You can't implement Kronk's style the corny Kronk style like he tried to say, oh, I'll stick it on him. Kronk. Like all that bullshit he says, but even if he wants to do it, you can't implement it in the next fight. You can't. One fight isn't enough. If he has 18 months to like practice and practice and practice, he will give himself a much better chance. And I believe AJ has a better chance. Again, people won't like to listen to me and won't like to hear it from me and say, oh, Fury's God or whatever. But I believe he will have a better chance against Fury than Usyk based on what I saw in the first fight. The reason why I say that is not because Usyk is Samson doesn't rate Usyk. Not because Usyk is some Super Saiyan, unbeatable guy, although I do feel he's mad elite. My thing is AJ doesn't know how to fight small, fast guys. He's always struggled against a smaller opponent. And unfortunately, with Usyk, he's got a guy who's smaller than him, quicker than him in terms of foot speed, and can box. So, again, we want AJ to stick it on him and hurt him and whatnot. But I feel like with Usyk, the way our boy Tio beat Lomachenko, that's one way to beat that style. But unfortunately for AJ, I don't see AJ learning that enough in that short space of time between just no fights to be able
By the
to...
way, we said this before the fight one. We said that AJ just needs to be physical.
Yeah, no. I agree with you, but it's not just being physical. You have to be smart with your physicality.
Yeah,
you have to be fit. And to learn that, you need more than no fights. Like he's going.
I don't think he's necessarily learning that though. I think he has
like
that.
He learn that, bro. He has to learn that. Remember, his mind is fucked. His mind is fucked.
There we go. I think it's not a problem of him actually being able to implement it. He's done it. We've seen him do it. It's the psychological. His mental state needs to be sorted out. He needs to fix his head out and work out whether he's a rapper or whether he's the ambassador, and pick between the two profiles that he's juggling and stick with one, because like 1 week he's playing chess with Adam Smith and 1 week he's doing up gang AP bust down with
Hey, listen, fuck it. Fuck all you niggas, man. Listen, corny AJ. Call corny AJ what he wants. He's the corniest guy, but he's still my guy. The man was talking about what he wants to know of his followers. Either he gives them £1 million or £1 million idea.
and you earn 5%. Brother, who came in for financial advice? No one.
Yeah. Listen, AJ, you're my boy, but you chat shit, and that is fine. That is fine. I still love you and I ride with you, bro.
Like, it's cool to just be the man, then. You don't need to do all that.
FPBC Sams, yeah. F all the man that are against you. AJ, we ride, man. Listen, AJ, if you want me to say I'll pick the 1 million idea with 5% interest, I'm picking that. Although I know better, I will pick that for you. I'll pick that for you, my bro. So,
because you know you gotta think smart.
Hey, listen, I hate Shams. Listen, when AJ back,
you know what? Have you guys not realized I've been trolling less because the more and more he speaks, the less I have to say. It's brilliant.
no, it's true. It's true. It's just AJ,
How's
man.
it to himself? Like, I feel like Eddie's gonna give him that. Eddie's gonna come up to him again and say, "Listen, no more social media interviews for you because you're just chatting shit."
I can't wait for them to announce Crawford for suspense, because literally what I'm going to do is just going to start it off, and then I'm just going to mute, turn off, and let you guys go for 3 hours.
Me, Leroy, and Samson has to be on that show, man.
Just
I'm going to smoke everyone. I'll smoke every single one of them.
When that fight gets announced, yeah. Oh my god, I'm going full. The way I used to go for Mayweather, right for Mayweather, yeah. You men are gonna fight me in soccer. Jide, don't be surprised if you don't see me on your doorstep. I'm on you. I'm on you. I'm going back to better gym. I'll buck you in better gym again. I will be on your neck.
Oh mate.
Oh, this has been a fun episode. Any last things to cover, you guys, or is that we've got everything?
Yeah, man. Lions in the camp.
Yeah,
Lions in the camp. Come on, this Saturday. Come on, Anthony. We need to get that dub.
We need to get to Ghana, man. We need that.
5% yield. Oh my. Hey, guy, man. Jesus.
I've been your host, Naeem, and this is my guest, Samson Jide. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Ringside Fracas.
Bye.
You have a fun week of boxing, especially with this week's boxing. And remember to please like and subscribe on YouTube. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. And we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Peace out.